What advice would you give to the players my age, and also what advice would you give to older players about getting noticed by college coaches?
Sure. So, advice I would give to you guys, you little ones, it's you're young. You're young. Like this is the time to enjoy the sport you love, with the friends that you love. And a big thing that I would say to you guys is work twice as hard on your non-dominant hand as your dominant. I wish I started younger in my left hand. It's okay if you drop the ball. You're on the wall, you're outside by yourself. It doesn't matter if you drop 700 left-handed passes. Like once you start catching them, you're never going to drop them again. So it's just like work more on your non-dominant hand than your dominant hand. It makes you a multiverse player. And just don't take anything too seriously yet. Like you have so much time, just enjoy the moment, have fun with your friends, that kind of stuff. Like you're young, you're young. Don't take anything too seriously. My advice for players who are trying to get noticed by college coaches, so you're not there yet, got a couple more years. Send emails. It might sound repetitive and tedious, but sending lots of emails, making sure that the name is spelled right on your emails, making a list of realistic schools, some schools that like might be a little easier for you to go to that like are fallback schools, and also schools that you're like, there's no way I could play there because you never know. I grew up, I had when I went through the recruiting process, I had three lists. A list of schools like absolutely not, no way, which all the schools that recruited me the second time around were on that list. So it's just like shoot for the moon. And then I would say you have no idea where you're going to end up. Like chase your dream. That's like my big thing. If you sat me down my sophomore year of high school and you told me in 3 years I'd be playing at a top 10 program, I'd tell you you're legit crazy and that's never going to happen, you know? So like shoot for the moon. And then another big advice for you, you guys can start practicing this now at your young age. And also the girls getting ready to go through the recruiting process is carry yourself well at tournaments. Like treat your coaches, treat your teammates, treat your parents with respect. Like carry your own bag. Don't let your parents carry your bag at tournaments. And if you make a mistake on the field, brush it off and hustle back into the play. A college coach is looking for heart, hustle, and attitude. They can teach you all the lacrosse skills that they need to. They cannot make you a good person. So, like, my advice would be those kind of things.
What's one skill or drill that helped you improve the most as a lacrosse player?
Wall ball, wall ball, wall ball, wall ball. If you can't pass, catch, and cradle with confidence, you're not going to be able to excel at the sport. Before I got to college, I think the biggest jump I ever made in my skills before college was 2 weeks before my freshman year tryout. I had already played year varsity and like it was great and all, but the 2 weeks before my freshman year tryouts, I hit the wall every single day. Doesn't have to be very long. Every single day I went left, I went right for just 2 weeks. And my game improved like light years to a point where like I was playing at a whole different level than I had been the year before just because I hit the wall for like 30 minutes a day for 14 days. So wall ball is the best way to improve your game like to a completely different level, I'd say, at the age that you're at right now.
Would you say like do you do a lot of the fancy wall ball things or just the simple ones?
Stick to the simples. Catch right, throw left, left, off shoulder, couple BTBs. You could throw some Twizzlers in there if you want, but
Mhm.
like I'm at one of the highest levels of lacrosse right now, and you're not seeing a lot of BTBs or Twizzlers. And yeah, it's important to do and have that in your back pocket, but it's going to come down to catching right, catching left religiously, like never dropping the ball, that kind of stuff. Stick to the basics.
Yeah. What's your favorite memory from your lacrosse journey so far?
My favorite memory. Okay, I'd probably go with when we beat Syracuse in the Dome last year. So my whole family was there to watch. You came.
Yeah.
I even cried when we won. If I don't know if you remember that. It was just such a highly anticipated game for us, and the Dome just brings an unmatched energy. Like you grow up dreaming of moments like that,
Mhm.
and being a part of those kind of games, and like you work every single day, all these years for like moments like that. And yeah, it was just a non-conference regular season game, but it was really fun. That's probably my favorite memory.
Yeah, I loved watching that game. It was a good game. What does a typical day in your life as a Division One lacrosse player look like? Is it busy as it sounds?
Yes, it's as busy as it sounds, but there's also definitely a lot of time. So, okay, so for the fall, let's say like I'd wake up anywhere from like 7:30 to 8:30, depending on what time we had practice that day. Monday, Wednesday, Friday was a certain time, and then Tuesday, Thursday. Just it fluctuated like a half an hour. So I'm up around 7:30. I eat breakfast. I eat like the same thing every single day and a big glass of water. And then after breakfast, I head to school for treatment from like around 8:30 to 9:30. I'm in the training room, whether that's rehabbing from an injury I've had or just warming up for practice, recovering. Um, and then practice runs from like 10 to 1-ish, which if it goes a lot quicker than you think. And then from like 1 to 1:30, we head over to our weight room and we lift. Um, And then after lift is over, I'm done with my lacrosse obligations for the most part for the day. Then I grab myself lunch, maybe a snack, shower change for class. And then I usually have, I'd say 1 to 2 classes a day, maybe. And then after my class, I have an internship. So I work in our academic athletic center and I'm an academic success coach. So I actually work with our women's basketball team here. And so I'm doing an internship in there. So it's like considered a class almost, but I head to my internship and then after my internship, depending on when class is over, usually I'm done like 6 o'clock-ish. And then I head home, I eat dinner, I do some homework, and then me and my roommate sit on the couch, we watch a movie, and I'm in bed probably by in the fall, 9 to 10:30-ish. I try to be asleep by latest 10:30.
Mhm.
Once the spring hits, though, it's going to be a lot earlier. I try to be lights out by 9:30, no later. I think sleep's super, super important, and it's like crucial to playing well. So yeah, that's pretty much my schedule. It's busy. It definitely is busy, but it's not as like intimidating and it's insane as you think. And once you get into a schedule, you kind of get used to it.
What's one thing about playing college lacrosse that surprised you?
One thing. Okay, I'd say probably that even after I think a big misconception with college sports is it's like you see these girls commit and they're like, "Oh my God, my dream. I finally achieved my dream." Well, yeah, you've achieved your dream, but you're not there yet. And you still have 4 years of lacrosse to play. And it's just like people think like, oh, I'm committed. I don't have to work hard anymore. And I think a big thing about that was I went to a school where I was like really good. I was one of the best players. And then you go to college and that's not you anymore. Everyone else was the best player in their high school. And then you all come together and you're no longer the best anymore. And so I think one thing that surprised me was how hard I had to work even after I got to college. So I think that summer home from my freshman year, um, I was up at 4:45 every single morning. It's the summer. You're supposed to enjoy the sun by the pool with your friends. I was up at 4:45 every single morning with my dad on the field by 5:15 before the sun even came up, running, shooting, dodging, everything. And then I would go off to work that day. And then after work, I would go to the gym. And it's just like I had never worked that hard in my entire life. I thought I knew what hard work looked like, and I didn't. And so I think a big thing about playing college lacrosse that surprised me was that you got to work even harder once you get there. But yeah, that's it. That was it.
If you could go back and give your younger self one piece of advice about lacrosse or life in general, what would it be?
All right, going off the last one, I wish I had worked just a smidge harder when I was in high school, not when I was your age. Like you still want to enjoy it. And like, yeah, you guys work really hard, but it's still fun for you. And it should be fun. If it's no longer fun, my mom always says, if it's no longer fun, we're done. Like it's just a sport. It's supposed to be fun. But I think a big thing for me is I wish I could go back and like work harder. Because you know when I was in high school and I thought I was the best, and I wasn't. Spoiler, I wasn't. And I didn't realize that until I got to college. And if I had just pushed myself a little bit harder in high school, I feel like I would have been more equal going into college as the girls who grew up on Long Island, grew up in Maryland, like with that competition that I never really had. Um, I'd say another huge one that I'm trying to currently deal with right now. Actually, look, I'm working on I have a book. My dad's gotten me on like the mental game side of things, which you think like I never even thought of this in high school or even when I was your age. Like the mental game is so, so important. Like there is a huge pool of world-class athletes out there, like an insane amount of incredible lacrosse players. And I think what separates the really, really good players from the great players and the names that you know and look up to is the mental side of it. I think like working on your mental game as an athlete is just as important as the physical game. So you get those reps. You're shooting all the time. Well, you got to really think the mental game because like which I'll get into later when we continue talking. I journal all the time.
Yeah.
And a big thing that I'm currently working on right now is if I don't believe in myself on the field, no one else is going to. And like everybody jokes around about like manifestation, but if you visualize something, it's more likely to happen in real life. And so like yeah, you can go to the field. And for me, it's so easy to grab my ball bucket and grab my stick and head to the field and put up 100 shots. That's easy. But sitting down and really visualizing success for me and believing in myself, now that's the harder side of it. So I wish I had sat down earlier in my career and really focused on the mental game because now it's a challenge for me, like right now as I come up on my last couple seasons.